I put on my Jinx shirt for this video and you literally can't even see. Maybe if I stand here, but then I run danger just tossing over my shelf. This is as good as it's going to get. Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. My name is Lotta, I'm the Hoarding Puffin, and today we are going to go through another cosplay progress. And if you've followed along with a lot of my cosplays, you might know that most of them are very fantasy based. A lot of them are based on D&D worlds. I've done a lot of the Rings cosplay, I've done a lot of Critical Role cosplay, I've done some Star Wars, but mostly I like to stick to the fantasy realm. And, you know, elves and wizards, things like that. So this cosplay is probably the one furthest out of my general realm of how I do cosplays out of all of the ones I've done so far. Not counting my Magnus Archive cosplays, that is. But yeah, I cosplayed Jinx. I made a Jinx Arcane cosplay. Originally that was supposed to be done like middle of September for Nikon, but I decided not to go then, and a lot of my friends agreed because yeah, none of our cosplays were gonna be done by that time. We didn't know if we would even all be able to go, so we kind of decided in our group to not go to Nikon. And what was very fun about this one is I got to go grimy and like paint things that aren't supposed to be painted with acrylic paint. And I just got to do things that I don't normally do. I don't usually make prop bombs. I don't run around with a very long turquoise braided wig. Like, it's very outside of how my other cosplays look aesthetically. Where I usually, even with my Magnus stuff, I kind of tap into historical inspirations or something. I never really got to do something grimy and steampunky. And so I was very, very excited to, you know, do this, to do Jinx. One thing that hasn't changed though is my approach to this cosplay, which was to look at it and think, okay, these are things I'm comfortable with and these are things I'm not comfortable with, and making changes to make myself more comfortable. I'm putting my own comfort first in literally every cosplay project I do. Jinx was no exception. Jinx's outfit in the video games are all just so far out of my comfort zone. I'd very much not like to run around a convention in boots, a bikini and a like bullet belt. Thank you very much. And her Arcane outfit also doesn't really do it for me. So that one mostly because 3/4 length trousers don't look good on real people, especially not short people. And also the top situation looked like it was going to be sensory hell. And so I did what I always do and I made some adjustments and I came up with a design that I'm sure I'm going to be blending in like here-ish. It's going to be on the screen. Which basically took the colors and general aesthetic of Jinx's Arcane outfit and adjusted it to an aesthetic and a way I could realistically make it myself and still be comfortable. In this specific case, it wasn't just my own personal, like, physical comfort that played a role in this, but also how people react to Jinx cosplayers. Specifically because I look a bit younger than I actually am, and I do look very feminine. I identify as non-binary, but I'm very much leaning in the feminine aesthetic, which means fandom spaces can be really scary. And I'm no stranger to threats of violence and or death for cosplaying a character, and I very much wanted to avoid that, as well as the other kind of questionable comments a feminine aesthetic cosplayer can get on the internet for cosplaying a character that is already extremely sexualized, even though her version in the show, I believe, is underage. We're not gonna think about that more, because otherwise I will spiral. And this is very much not a Magnus Archives cosplay. This is a Jinx cosplay, so we're gonna stick to that. So yeah, I came up with a design I was comfortable with, and yeah, I think that is enough for intro stuff. Let's get going into the actual video. a little bit of a development in terms of Jinx's design. So when I designed how I wanted my Jinx cosplay to look, I basically made up these split side trousers, like very loose over trousers over a pair of shorts, because I didn't want the coverage of trousers or pants or whatever you want to call them, but I didn't actually want to sew tight pants because I'm devil. However, last night I kind of, because I wanted to see if it would work, I pinned everything. I don't remember why I know why I didn't film it. The lighting was horrible because it was late at night. But I pinned it and put it together and it just did not work. It looked too... Nice is not quite the right term. I have the right term in German, but I don't have an English translation right now. If I end up finding a good translation, I will put it in the screen. It just didn't read as Jinx enough, essentially, for me. And I experimented around, and essentially what I ended up coming up with was, what if I just did one pant leg? So if I did the waistband and then just did one leg, and the other side I left with just the shorts. And then I got the idea that I could order some overknees in like a bright color or fun pattern, and put the overknee sock on the leg where I don't have the trousers on. And I just pinned it, and that actually works, I think. So I think that is what we'll continue with, which means I need to order blue or something overknee socks. But we have a plan now, we have a direction in which to go, which is nice, so let's get going with that. Little update on the whole Jinx situation. My socks just came in. I ordered them from a company they're called My Socks. They were quite literally the only company I could find that provide overknee socks in the color that I wanted. And that didn't have reviews saying like, oh yeah, these don't fit for anyone who has thighs. Which, you know, with overknees that are supposed to fit over the lower half of your thighs, you want them to fit. The camera does not pick up how turquoise these are. These are so bright turquoise. Okay, a little box top, if you will. I now have all of my props and also all of my like accessories done, which for the accessories I basically just got a belt, and then I got some jewelry slash I modified some jewelry I already had in my stash, and I found some earrings that I already had in my stash that worked. And then I made a bunch of different props and pieces and accessories out of foam and cardboard, made her little bombs and her little jewelry things that go on the braids, and I also made a mask cover that basically looks like the gas mask she wears when she kind of tries to get even with Savika. And I made that because when I go to conventions, I have no idea where all the people have been. I have no idea of their individual vaccination status, health status, and I already have issues with my lungs. So I'm not going to risk that. I am going to wear a FFP2 mask when I go to conventions, but while those are safe, they don't look very aesthetic in a cosplay. So I made a mask cover that looks in character to kind of hide the mask whilst also wearing one. You get the idea. And so now the only thing left to do is make fish bones. And you can't see him because he's way over there on the floor, but I'm currently in the midst of priming him. I did not film the actual making process of him, but I also just made him out of foam and cardboard and some spare plastic from like packaging stuff. And like a kid's looking glass that I nicked off my friend who is doing Caitlin in our cosplay group, because she ordered like a bunch of like little looking glasses for kids to use as the visors on the rifle. So I got to use one of those. So those are for the eyes. So right now I'm priming him just with wood glue because that's what I got on hand. And I'm going to let that dry for the amount of time it needs to, and then I'm going to paint the insides first so that those will just be blackout. Then I will paint the outside. Then I'll add the last pieces of plastic, of clear plastic, because I wanted to avoid those getting paint on them. And then I'll install the lights, and then Jinx will be done. So with any luck, I'll actually be able to finish the cosplay in 2022 still. And for reference, today is the 11th of December. She is done! I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be done, to have finally finished this video as well, because I finished this cosplay last year in 2022, but when I went to film the reveal footage, I picked literally the worst day. I was in sensory overload. I was basically running against time because I was losing daylight by the second. It was just not meant to be, I guess. It was bad. I didn't get any good review footage. I think I scrapped together enough for like 3 TikToks and that was it. So today went a lot better. I still have energy, if you can't tell, which is really good. I am so happy with how everything turned out. I've never made a cosplay in this style before. I like it, but I will say it is not only one of my most expensive builds, it is and most complicated builds because there were new challenges like foam smithing, which I basically never do. It is also, I think, one of my more taxing and sensory heavy cosplays. The wig for one, because it's so long and the braids are heavy and all the weight is at the back of that. I'm having a headache after wearing the cosplay for maybe an hour and a half now. This is definitely a cosplay that I can't wear on low energy days. It's not a cosplay I can wear on sensory bad days, and it's definitely not a cosplay I can wear in the heat. So needless to say, this is not going to be a cosplay I'll bring for every convention I ever go to and every photo shoot opportunity, because no, way too exhausting. That being said, oh, my necklace is totally turned. That being said, I love it. I am so stoked with how everything looks. I'm so happy with all of my props. I love Jinx as a character. The wig, albeit a pain, because oh my god, it is so stressful, is so fun. I think it looks so cool, though I have to futz around more with her bangs, make them actually go up more, because I hate having them just in front of my eye. So I'll need to make them a bit more sculpted so that they're just literally more like the video game version, I guess, because I need to be able to see. I'll also, if I take this to a photo shoot or a convention, I'll need to get contact lenses, because with the wig and the ear and everything, it's very hard to wear my glasses, and Jinx doesn't wear glasses, so that's another thing. It's definitely a complicated and taxing cosplay, but I think it's worth it. I really love how it turned out. I'm really stoked. I can't wait for our whole cosplay group to be, you know, done with our work so we can do a proper photo shooting, because that is planned. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a long time in the making. I started it like way back in the beginning of 2022. Now it is finally here. I'm very hyped. If you have any questions about any part of the building process or the cosplay, feel free to ask them down below. One question that I can maybe sort of predict is about the wig. It is by Wig is Fashion. Not sponsored, but all my wigs are by them because I tend to be able to estimate how well they will fit on my head. This is one of their Jinx Cosplay wigs. You can find it on their site either by filtering for the color blue or just going in the cosplay wig tag. It can come pre-braided. I didn't order it that way, but if you want a Jinx wig, I can definitely recommend that one, but it is on the expensive side. Just that being said. But yeah. Is there anything else? No, I don't think. I can't think of anything else. So yeah. Any questions you might have, or any comments, things you might want to tell me, feel free to leave them below. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I'll see you again very, very soon. And till then, bye bye!